I didn't.
Shut up.
I just wanted to say hi to
Shut up. Face the wall. Turn around. Turn around. No sudden movement, sir. Give me your hand. Give me your hand.
Yeah. And you weren't really sparring. You were fighting. We were fighting all the time. And guys getting dropped all the time. And that was just the kind of gym that I was in.
But this wasn't a real fight. He was pulling punches. He wasn't giving it his full effort.
Joe Rogan responded to rumors suggesting Jake Paul could face legal trouble over claims that some boxing matches were scripted. Rogan made it clear that no level of fame, money, or career success is worth putting your life in danger. He reminded fans that boxing is a serious and violent sport, not something to be taken casually. According to Rogan, Paul needs to carefully rethink his choices before returning to the ring, because chasing attention through dangerous fights can come with irreversible consequences.
You have probably seen some of the controversy he's been taking.
Rogan further stressed that boxing carries extreme risks and continuing to fight without proper caution can lead to devastating outcomes. He also pointed out that if a fighter becomes involved in illegal activity or match manipulation, serious legal consequences could follow, making the situation even worse.
Because then you can't think, you can't do things, you don't know what the fuck you're doing in life. It's like literally everything is the quality of your ability to think. And I knew.
Now, Kissa Bidarian firmly denied any wrongdoing by Jake Paul or his team. He directly addressed online rumors claiming the fight with Anthony Joshua was staged, calling those accusations completely untrue. Nakissa referenced shocking posts circulating online, including claims that Joshua allegedly agreed not to knock Paul out. He rejected those stories, explaining that Joshua fought honestly and decisively with no secret arrangements. According to Nakissa, Jake trained seriously, stepped into the ring, and accepted genuine danger like any real fighter. He also confirmed that legal steps are being taken against individuals spreading false information. For Nakissa, setting the record straight is essential to protect the credibility of Jake Paul, his team, and the legitimacy of the fight itself.
I've seen the script, rig, this, that, and the other. Do you think now, at the very least, that talk goes away? Broke his jaw, went in there against Anthony Joshua. At the very least, do you think that you guys can move on from that? Like, that won't follow you?
No, I don't. I actually, our lawyers are actively going after a number of people. One who claims to be a lawyer himself online. I don't remember the name or the handle, but it was something that had like 200,000 likes. And basically this post said there was an agreement for AJ not to knock out Jake, but AJ disregarded the agreement and decided to not get his payday, but knock out Jake Paul. So it's pretty astonishing what people say. Your dear friend Lou DiBella, saw him put up a bunch of ridiculous things and even said, Nikisa, go ahead and sue me. But this wasn't a real fight. He was pulling punches. He wasn't giving it his full effort.
And so for the people, again, just to clear this up, because I asked Eddie this question, I'll ask you the exact same question. Once and for all, was there any sort of arrangement as far as it should go this many rounds? Because that's the one that I've heard. Oh, Anthony agreed to 3 rounds, 4 rounds. Can you tell us in black and white if there were any talks of any kind between the network, the promotion, the fighter?
There has never once in Jake Paul's career been any talk of that sort, of anything to do with the fight being anything but a real fight that has exactly the same situation as any professional fight. And that's exactly the same thing here for the Anthony Joshua fight. It's just beyond mind-blowing that people would think that. Anthony Joshua was on record saying that if he didn't finish him in the first round, that would be disappointing, that it would be a failure. The narrative changed as we got closer to fight night and obviously post-fight, and I understand why, but they were pretty adamant it would take max 2 rounds.
Joe Rogan had previously warned Jake Paul not to repeat reckless behavior inside the ring. He strongly advised Paul to reconsider participating in extremely dangerous matchups, emphasizing that no achievement is worth risking one's life. Rogan highlighted that boxing is unforgiving, and chasing attention or money through staged or risky fights could result in severe and lasting consequences. Responsibility and safety, he said, must always come first.
Look at all them celebrities like dude from the Mighty Ducks, the little boy actor that got strung out on drugs. And all his fronts and all his teeth were missing from being on meth or whatever, whatever drug of choice he was on. There's no coming back from that. The people who dissipate their teeth through drug usage, you don't get like a second set. So if I'm not mistaken, the dude from Mighty Ducks, somebody like he's been clean, and they gave him a makeover, and he has like pretty much fake teeth. So yeah, the teeth are going to be cooked. Now, I agree with the other part that Rogan was saying, but let's keep going.
Yeah, I think he went into that fight knowing that was probably going to happen,
yeah.
and ultimately, the big win for him would be that he was even willing to do it, and that he could do well for a little bit.
Yeah, and I've already expressed my thoughts on this. I'm not giving no props for a person who says I am a real deal boxer because I went and get smashed and got my jaw broken, but I lasted longer than Ngannou. But I was crazy enough to try, because to be honest, we're way past the honeymoon stage with a person like Jake Paul. You've been in this for long enough to go through fight camps, dedicate your time, effort, energy, money, spar with people. You spar with some quality names because you have resources and money or whatever. So we're well past that, to the point where you just get credit for stepping in. You maybe got credit your first fight or whatever, first couple of fights, for coming from your background and, you know, stepping in and fighting, but we're well past that. You have a box rec. You were being ranked by sanctioning bodies and by
Eddie Hearn shared a detailed breakdown of the Anthony Joshua versus Jake Paul fight, focusing on the strategy behind Joshua's performance. He explained that Joshua's team followed a disciplined game plan, choosing patience and control rather than wild aggression. The goal was to gradually test Jake Paul, exploit weaknesses, and drain his stamina before landing decisive shots. Hearn noted that this calculated approach represents true professional boxing, where timing, discipline, and strategy matter more than raw power. Every stage of the fight was carefully managed to maintain dominance, showing that intelligence and planning often separate elite fighters from the rest.
Said before the fight, I'm going to break him down, and then I'm going to knock him out. And that's exactly what he did. I thought it'd be all over within 3 rounds. But, you know, when I got in the ring after, because I was shouting, just, you know, anywhere, arms. I got in, he went, what are you rushing me for? And I was like, oh, sorry. So, but like, obviously he knows what he's doing, and actually now quite pleased that we got the rounds, to be honest.
Yeah, I saw you said that. Really random, I was on Twitter and I saw Jake Paul's mum said she wants to get in the ring and punch you. She said she doesn't like the smug look on your face. She is promoting her book, so I'm not sure if she wants, you know. But did you see that? What did you think of that?
No, I was very sad, because I couldn't have been nicer and more respectful of Jake and what he's done. And I think Logan's amazing. I think he's an incredible athlete. And I shook Jake Paul's dad's hand in the ring, you know. And if I would have seen Mum, I would have said, all right. But I think over the years, we've obviously had our beef, and she probably don't like me anyway. And I am probably a little bit smug. I wasn't smug after the fight, because I would have been more smug if it was all over in a round. Yeah. So, no, I'll give Jake respect. And, yeah. Sorry, Jake's mum doesn't like me, but if she can send me a free book.
Adam Catterall offered a blunt perspective on the matchup, pointing out the imbalance that arises when popularity influences modern boxing fights. He argued that Jake Paul's rise has been driven more by celebrity and online fame than by traditional boxing experience. Even while appearing to hold back, Anthony Joshua demonstrated superior control, accuracy, and timing, landing shots that showed the clear difference in skill. This gap fueled speculation that outside factors may have shaped the fight. Rumors suggested Paul try to influence the pace to reduce danger and protect his image, reflecting broader concerns that celebrity boxing prioritizes entertainment over competitive integrity. Catterall's comments highlighted how hype-driven matchups can undermine the core values of the sport.
My own credibility, I've got to knock you out, but I've got to try and knock you out where I'm not hurting you as much as what I could if I unleashed. Yeah. And with the punch you said that he landed, it's not his best punch,
it's
his most powerful punch, right? Yep. And he's shattered his jaw in 2 places, right? So Anthony Joshua gets his 70 million, whatever it is. But I think he's sitting there thinking, thank God for that. Thank God. On a human level, I've come out, all right, I've sort of, not reputation, but I haven't hurt him as bad as what I could have.
There should be an awful amount of people breathing a massive sigh of relief. Anybody that put that fight together, athletic commissions, like you said,
it wasn't a fight.
No, it wasn't at all. Like you said, it was a prize fight. It was an event. if Anthony damages him, he's got to live with that for the rest of his life.
Absolutely.
That's a lot of stress to deal with, you know what I mean? So I'm sure he's bleeding in the side of relief. The team that have put him in there, that have negotiated that for him, but the authorities that put that on and commissioned it as a proper boxing match, I've no doubt.
Does that go on his... Because
yeah, it's a professional boxing
Do you know what? If I was Anthony Joshua, I would be saying, I don't want that on my record.
Well,
but for the credibility of them putting the fight on, they would have said to him, no, we've got to say this. It's been commissioned. It's going to be a proper fight. And I found it... I love my boxing, but I just find the whole thing really, really unedifying. You said about get followers. You mentioned Tommy Fury. Tommy Fury is nowhere near his level of getting like a British title fight or whatever. Nowhere near. So it's basically he's like...
Beat Jake Paul.
Well, beat Jake Paul. But so
but what I'm saying is that's 100. I stand by that, and I think Tommy would admit that. You know what I mean? To become a British champion is a very prestigious thing to do.
Sam Jones gave an honest and critical reaction to the fight, saying it was difficult to watch, not because of violence, but due to obvious technical flaws. He noted that Jake Paul struggled with basic boxing fundamentals such as defense, footwork, and reacting to combinations. These issues created a noticeable imbalance throughout the bout. Some moments even appeared overly controlled, giving the impression that the action was guided to limit serious danger. While acknowledging Paul's training efforts, Jones suggested that the mismatch in skill, combined with rumors of managed pacing, resulted in a fight that felt uncomfortable and raised questions about authenticity.
Joshua knocking out and breaking Jake Paul's jaw. Just talk to me right now about the fight itself, and then we'll break it down.
Bit of a crap fight, if we're all honest. It was like watching Jaws 2 when all the kids went out on their boats and they were in the middle of the sea, and the shark was just surrounding the boat, just like that's what it was like. It was just like a shark circling its prey, and just like it was like nibbling, and eventually got him. But Jake Paul showed big plums in there, no matter what anybody says about him, because I've seen people say, yeah, he went in there to survive. Yeah, okay, he went in there to survive. He's a guy that's been boxing a couple of years against a unified champion of the world who can really punch. It wasn't the best. It wasn't the best fight. It just wasn't the best thing to watch, was it? Like it was just, it weren't great. I just want to see now Tyson Fury against Anthony Joshua. I think at the stages of their careers they're at, AJ and Tyson Fury, we don't need to see interim fights, Andrew. We don't need to see interim fights because they're just potential banana skins. We want to see two of the best heavyweights of this era going at it.
After the fight, Luke Thomas became one of the most vocal critics, questioning the praise Jake Paul received. He argued that stepping into the ring with a fighter of Anthony Joshua's level should not be celebrated without serious discussion of the risks involved. Thomas warned that the spectacle surrounding the event distracted from the real dangers of boxing. He also noted that Paul's confidence and certain actions in the ring seemed to align with rumors that parts of the fight may have been planned. According to Thomas, glorifying these events blurs the line between real competition and entertainment.
Driving kind of feeds into the story of him being perhaps a little bit better than we sometimes think, although I don't really co-sign on that. Let me make the point. The first point is, I think people are overreacting a little bit. People were suggesting when I got on social media that this was like the biggest farce they'd ever seen in their life, and that this was, how could he fight like this, and this was a disaster, and Joshua should have got him out there earlier. There is probably some evidence to suggest that I don't think Joshua was carrying him in the sense of, hey, they coordinated this ahead of time. But was Joshua really stepping on the gas? No, I don't think he was really stepping on the gas. There were times I think he clearly pulled his punches, partly because Jake was squirmy and rotating on the outside. Also in part because I think, as I indicated on Friday, he's watching this guy with pretty bad footwork. He was literally tripping over himself, and he realized he just can't keep this up. So there was that. But people were acting like, how could this be? How could this have happened? Guys, on Friday's MK, and then before that, earlier in the week on Submission Radio, they asked me on Submission Radio, how do you think he's going to fight? And I'm like, he's going to run. And they're like, you don't think he's going to clinch? I'm like, okay, he'll clinch at times, but then the rest of the time he's going to run. What other way was this going to go? What other way was this? What other way was this?
Chael Sonnen strongly criticized the matchup, stating that fights like this are dangerously risky under normal circumstances. He described the contest as feeling less like a sport and more like a survival scenario, with both physical safety and reputation on the line. Sonnen emphasized that inexperienced fighters facing elite professionals can put their lives at risk. The rumors of scripting only intensified these concerns. He warned that mixing celebrity culture with high-level boxing threatens the sport's integrity while unnecessarily endangering fighters. Some analysts observed that Paul appeared unusually cautious, leading to speculation that certain moments were structured to allow Joshua to dominate without excessive danger.
These guys fought. That was not a boxing match. It just wasn't. Jake Paul had a very healthy fear for his life while he was in there, and he was moving as such. He was staying away from him. He was running away. He was trying to get distance. Then he was trying to step in to win this athletic competition, and then he's trying to get out of the way so that he doesn't get hurt again. I mean, he was fighting. Then it turns to where he can't stay away anymore. So now he's got to go the other way. He's got to go forward. So now he's clinching him. Now he's dropping down to his knees. He's going below the waist. He's getting to double leg positions. He was fighting. These guys were fight. Jake was fighting for his survival, and you could so see it. You could see this animal who's been caged and is just trying to make it through, not even kill its prey, just make it through. And it was incredible. It was really incredible. So on the back end, some of the comments that I made or that I had heard were so confusing to me. It was a very good competition. I will tell you, it breaks my heart too that Anthony Joshua can't get him out of there in one round. Dave Portnoy had made a comment before the fight. He said, I like Jake. I wish well for Jake. Of course I'm taking Joshua. And then Portnoy made his point. And he said, because I believe in boxing. This isn't if I'm cheering for Jake or if I think that Joshua is more experienced or better. I believe in boxing. I believe boxing's real. If boxing is an actual sport, if it is an actual sweet science, then of course a guy that's done it 11 times cannot compete with the Olympic champion.
That wraps up today's video. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for the next one.